What does his text mean?
So frustrating.
Maybe he's just not that into me.
She really likes
I've
me.
always been bad
How
at
can I
flirting.
get her attention?
I'm ready for
I just
marriage.
want somebody to share my life.
Is this
Relationship
Relationship
going
anywhere?
anywhere? Modern Love Made Simple. This is Dates and Mates with Damona Hoffman.
Welcome to Dates and Mates. I'm your host, certified dating coach Damona Hoffman, and we are going to demystify modern love for you today. We are broadcasting live, as always, from Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. We are live streaming to Facebook, so hello to my friends at Damona Hoffman on Facebook. And today, this is a provocative show. Today, my friends, we're going to go inside the mind of men. We're going right in there. I have two single guys who are going to be brave enough to let me pick their brain and hear what turns them on, what turns them off, and what makes them just go, huh, about dating. But first, I want to introduce you to my guest co-host of the day. Brett McGinn is here. He is back on Dates and Mates. This guy is a self-professed lover of love. He is dedicated to helping heal the broken-hearted, and he has this unconventional business. I can't actually say the name of it on Dates and Mates, but it's Love Effing Sucks, and it's all written out if you want to Google it right now. But Brett offers his clients advice on relationship issues from a neutral point of view. He helps women, especially, to heal broken hearts and find love again. Please give big smooches to Brett McGinn. Thank you for being back on the show for your second appearance. Okay, so we're going to hit the headlines today. We have OkCupid and Plenty of Fish telling us how to get someone to respond to your DM and more. Plus, we'll take a look at the kind of relationships that are worst for your health. And we will look inside the life of a Hollywood dad who's making everybody say, "Aww." And then we'll be answering your questions, including, what's the best dating app for men? Which one is it? I know you guys are all swiping, but which one is the best one for your time? And should a lady have sex with her man, even if she doesn't feel like it? I'm going to tell you, not just my opinion, but everybody else is going to chime in on that. And we also have a new producer who's just joined the team. I'm going to do a full feature on her on Facebook and Instagram at Damona Hoffman. But in the meantime, producer Leah, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm from Austin. I just moved to LA a month ago. And I went to school at Chapman University. And I'm really excited to be here.
Good. It's great to have some female energy to counteract all the testosterone that's in the studio today.
Yeah.
So let's hit it with the headlines.
Dee's Dating Dish.
Brett McGinn.
Yes.
It's statistics season for the dating apps. I don't know why it seemed like everybody was putting out a study this week. OkCupid, they've always been big on data and looking at what their users are really doing, how they're really responding. Mm-hmm. And Plenty of Fish also conducted a survey of their users. They call it the Conversation Nation study. And they do that annually, and they look at the state of conversations in dating. So I always find this really interesting to see how people are really using dating apps. This probably won't come as a surprise to you, but it turns out politics are becoming increasingly more important to singles over the last 2 years. Did you know about this OkCupid ACLU badge? That was news to me.
I didn't. I found that interesting, though.
Yeah, apparently if you say like you're down with the ACLU, you get a badge, and that could help you, folks. It could get you 10% more conversations. And if you mention politics, you're 50% more likely to get a mutual like. So I'm seeing now, like, we're really divided based on politics. That's now, it used to be one of the things further down the list, but now it seems like that's one of the primary questions that people want to know. Where do you land on the political spectrum before I decide if I'm going to date you or not? Are you seeing this in your practice as well?
Yeah, and I think given the political climate now, it makes sense because, you know, if you are all for the person that's currently in office.
I love how you didn't even say his name. Like he's
not
like,
worthy of his name being mentioned.
Yeah, he should not be named.
There are just so many negative connotations that inherently people associate with supporters of said man. So I get why
supporters
people,
of said man don't want to date liberals either.
Yeah, because Because they're brainwashed. That's why. That's my personal opinion.
Tell us how you really feel, Brett. How do you feel about emojis? Tell me about that.
I love emojis. I love how you can get such, a clear message across with the right emoji.
What is your favorite emoji?
I'm a big heart eye guy.
Oh, heart eye. I thought you said hard eye.
No.
Which
the
one is
heart
that?
eyes.
Where they're looking
the
at
one
you
that
like
has two hearts for the eyes.
Oh yeah, that's one of my faves. I like that and kissy face.
And it feels
And
just
winky
as good to
face.
receive it as it does to give it.
Yes. And it could be kind of neutral. Like it could mean like I love you, I'm in love with you, or it kind of just mean like I love what you just said, or just like I just love. And you love love.
Yeah, it can be, subtle flirtation, or it can be going all the way saying I'm crazy about you.
Well, it means a lot on a dating app, and according to this study, there are some emojis that you want to use and some that you want to completely avoid. So the wink face, I mentioned that before. The heart eyes, which you love, and kiss face, which I also mentioned, are the top ones. But I like this. They said nobody wants to see your eggplant. So don't use the eggplant emoji or the peach emoji or the fire emoji, which that kind of pissed me off because I like the fire emoji because some things are on fire and you need to note that in an emoji sense.
And I think everyone says it's lit now, and you can't say it's lit without a little flame at the end. Otherwise, it just looks stupid.
It's self-explanatory. When you put it, you know that it's lit.
I've never personally sent an eggplant, so I can definitely see. I can
you
get
don't wanna-
why
you
there would
don't-
be a negative connotation
Yeah.
with that one.
You don't want to put the eggplant with the fire, though.
And when
that means something different.
And when, right. Yeah, that's probably not good.
We
That's
should do
something
an
you want to tell someone you're into. And then the peach, I just think of Kim Kardashian's butt for some reason.
I think that's what it's intended for. We should do a whole show like dissecting emojis and text. Well, I have my texting 10 commandments on datesandmates.com if you want to learn really how to use text. But I want to get people the best advice, I think, from these studies is how to get people to actually respond to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I've been saying this since the dawn of time, but a message that refers to a shared interest or experience is 60% more likely to get a response. Like, duh, what are people sending? Isn't that what you've been telling clients forever?
Yeah, you've got to find commonality with people, and we all share some interest, whether it's the fact that we both eat food to survive or we both like going hiking on the weekends. You can find some commonality with anyone.
Okay, well, have that commonality or maybe just compliment them on their photos. That's a 18% response rate, or a joke or a funny story. I always thought that Aziz Ansari, Master of None, like I'm going to Whole Foods, you want anything? I thought that was good, but apparently that won't get you very far unless you're Aziz Ansari. Well, if you're looking for a relationship, there's one kind that is really detrimental to your health: the on-again, off-again relationship. And I think this is something that, I mean, you have the website Love Effing Sucks. I almost said it. Whoa, I caught myself.
Thank God you done
What
it.
if my daughter is listening to this? I'm sure that you have a lot of people that have come to you from being in these on-again, off-again relationships.
Yeah, and personally, I think there's a point where, subconsciously you kind of don't take the relationship serious anymore because, and once you get in that mode of we're on again, we're off again, you always feel like you can win the other person back no matter what happens, and it's just a delusional way to live, in my opinion.
It's delusional, and it's detrimental. Because Science Daily has this article about how it really is hurting your ability to bond. And if you are in that on-again, off-again relationship, something is wrong with it. You need to either look at your communication or your long-term goals. There's something that's causing you to have this relationship cycle, and it really like puts you in psychological distress when you never know if your relationship is going to last or not.
And I don't think that only relates to romantic relationships. I mean, if you're best friends with someone and then you hate each other the next day and next week you're best friends, it's just not a healthy way to live. And I agree. There's something not working, and you guys have to get down to the root of the problem and figure it out.
True. They can do that, I know, through loveeffingsucks.com.
They can.
Well, there's one couple that seems to have it all figured out. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. This article made everyone swoon at Bustle because John Krasinski, he's filming Jack Ryan, and he's been flying home every weekend. Apparently, he gets up early Saturday morning, flies, actually not home. Emily's working on a film in London with the kids. So he flies to them on Saturday morning, and then he flies home on Sunday and starts work all over again. Here's the thing, though, Brett. Here's the thing. Everyone is like, oh, John Krasinski, he's such a good dad. I can't believe what he'll go through just to see his children and be with his wife. But I feel like if this was reversed, let's say the headline is Emily Blunt flies home every weekend to be with her children, people would be like, so what? It's a mom, so she's expected to do that. But because it's a dad, now we all have to like bat our eyelashes and clutch our chests and say, "Oh my gosh, good job." Is this a big deal? Is this news?
I think what's cool is to see celebrities try to keep a quote unquote somewhat normal life, because when you have two celebrities that are constantly working, they're constantly in different geographic locations, it's hard to sustain a relationship, let alone have children. And that's why you see so many marriages in Hollywood last such a short period of time. It's because those people are never together. And, you know, he's probably flying first class and he has the budget for it. So why wouldn't you put in a little effort to go see your family?
Yeah, he's got those lie flat seats. So he's just napping. It's no big deal.
He's doing fine. And, you know,
it is a good
everyone
model.
else gets the weekends off, so why not spend them with your family?
You know what? I'm going to revise my statement here. I should celebrate this because you're right. It is good to have a Hollywood couple that shows us the model of what it could be and what it should be. Let's give the moms a little bit of credit. Like I had someone I was talking to this week that said, well, you know, there's this opportunity in New York, but I don't know if you can go because you have kids. And I'm like, nobody would ever say that to a dad. And I filmed two TV series in New York, and I did the same thing. I flew home every weekend. Mm-hmm. Nobody was at the airport waiting for me with flowers and champagne, and nobody wrote me up in Bustle for it. But let's see, I did it again. I came right back to the same place. Good for you. Good for you, Emily Blunt. Good for you, John Krasinski. And if only we had more dads that did that, then maybe this wouldn't be a headline. There we go. I got it to a positive point, but I still made up my point. When we come back, we're going to sit down with our special guest, Marquise and Ed. We're going to get inside the mind of men. So stay tuned for that. And by the way, if you are not a subscriber yet, you got to subscribe. And then you get the episodes the minute they post on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you listen. And the more people who subscribe, the more people who can find Dates and Mates. We need to spread some love. We need to help people. It's rough out there. So subscribe to the show so you can help other people find love and help yourself. And by the way, I'm also going to be starting a private group coaching call for the listeners of Dates and Mates only. And it's coming this coming week. So to get the login information, all you have to do is become a part of my community. You can do this at datesandmates.com just by picking your free e-course, The Texting 10 Commandments, or the Relationship Boot Camp. And that's it. You're in, datesandmates.com. So I have something to tell you about, and we'll be back in a moment to discuss the mind of men. But don't go anywhere because I have a really important message for you. I got to tell you about FabFitFun. It's a seasonal box with all of the fitness, beauty, fashion, and lifestyle products that are just for you. FabFitFun, they curate this customized gift box for you. It has over $200 worth of full-size items that you can get for only $49.99. Yeah, it's worth $200, but you get it for $49.99. And I'll just make this a little sweeter. You can get $10 off with the offer code Dates and Mates off your first box. There's a whole video of me opening the fall box on my Facebook page at Damona Hoffman, so you know everything that's in it. But this week and every week this month, I'm doing a feature of a new item in the fall box. So today I have the Yoga. Yes, there are 3 H's. The Yoga Detox Salt for the Bath by Cuccio. I did study Italian. And I also have the Original Beauty blender right here. And it's in pink. And you know I love pink. It's like they know me. So I have to tell you, this detox salt, it really works. I'm a big fan of bath salts. And this made me feel like I was in a spa. I will tell you, the scent is like mega eucalyptus. So you got to be into eucalyptus, but it really worked because I used this after going to family camp and having to sleep in bunk beds for a weekend, and my back was like toe up, and I did this bath salt and it worked like a charm. And the Beauty Blender also came in handy this week. You know, I really don't like doing my own makeup, but I do it for you every week so I can be fresh-faced on Dates and Mates on the live stream at Damona Hoffman on Facebook. And this sponge helped me smooth out all the makeup and gave me a polished professional look for my home makeup routine. So time is ticking, my friends. You have to go to fabfitfun.com to check it out and use the secret code Dates and Mates for $10 off your first box. I'll also put a little link there in the show notes if you're listening on Apple Podcast, or you can just go to fabfitfun.com. But don't forget to put that offer code Dates and Mates so you can get $10 off and let them know that I sent you. We are back with Brett McGinn, unconventional relationship expert, self-professed, hopeless, hopeful,
Hopeless,
hoping,
romantic.
hopeful, romantic. Can we change that?
Yeah, sure.
By the end of the show, let's make it
convinced.
hopeful. And let me introduce my guests today. I wanted to get inside the mind of men, and I wanted to bring you two single guys that are out there in these dating streets talking about what they're really experiencing. Like I said, what turns them on, what turns them off, what is just making them crazy about dating today. So I have Ed K, and I have Marquise here.
Hey now.
So let's just give everybody a little bit of a background. Ed, you're currently dating. You're like, there's a relationship brewing, but you've been in this dating market thing for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm out there. You can say that I'm not the kind of sleazeball that's swiping right while on the date. So, I think I'm just still testing what's going on around there, seeing the market. Met a couple good people here and there, and then, just it's not like a tournament yet where we're battling to see who's going to win my love or whatnot. But yeah, it's just it's been an adventure. What can I say?
Do you want that? Do you want a tournament? Is it like gladiator style? Like, ladies.
I gotta admit that whenever right now we have like during the it's like the NCAA tournament. I literally want to get all the girls 64. No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't even pick up that many dates.
Come on, I've known you a long time. You could.
But it would be kind of funny to just kind of like have a tournament style and just set it up. Of course, the minute the girls find out, everything's just gonna completely collapse and fall. So I'm already expecting that. But
but you're using dating apps.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of everything. Here's the thing: in this day and age, no one talks to one another anymore. That's what I've quickly found out. It's how fast you can type. And fortunately, like I'm a pretty fast texter with 1, 2, whatever hands I need to use. Thank God for iMessage on your computer. That just really makes it's like having a conversation. You just literally just type. And I think overall, you have to be in this. It's a little bit of technology. I like to still use the old-fashioned meeting websites. Even a Match. They've even improved that interface. It's kind of weird to go through that particular method. Even a Coffee Meets Bagel, which is really I consider old because you have to wait.
How many different platforms are you on, Ed?
That's a good question. I could make a tournament out of that. Seriously, I think we could literally have a final 8, Elite 8, Sweet 16 maybe of apps and see which wins.
How many are you actively using at one time?
I think I would say at least 5, maybe 4.
Right.
Just if you count websites and apps together.
Okay.
So you could use that. And if it's by some miracle that you're actually out and about, and that's the hard part. It's I'm actually surprised how many people I don't meet just regular going out. I think we've just reached a phase. I think there's
because everyone's stuck in their phones now, so they don't even notice you.
And I'm sorry. Have you ever had a relationship with a girl, say on Tinder, things are going great, then 2 weeks later you match with her on Bumble and she gets really mad that you're on other dating apps and she thinks that she already has your attention?
That is a really, really good question because I've always wondered myself, should I be mad if I'm swiping and I see them? I'm like, wait a minute. I thought we were swipe exclusive,
You're not swipe exclusive until you've had the conversation about being swipe exclusive. But I want to bring Marquise into the conversation too. So you kind of you coming in at this from a different angle because you've had a big life change lately. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, all right. So up until essentially 2 years ago, I was about 360 pounds. I've lived my entire life as fat. Basically the whole life of basically since the beginning of a person knowing who you are, I've been fat. So you're a kid playing around in the ground and someone calls you fat, then you know you're fat. That's been me. And then now I'm 40 after spending 38 years kind of in a 300-pound chastity belt. And the dating world is whole new because I basically have experiences of a 16-year-old, and I'm like at super advanced level stuff because I look like I do right now, and I have the jobs.
And you
that
look
I
good.
do. Yeah, and
You
I
look
look
great.
good.
We're going
And
to put a picture up on Instagram.
it's one of those crazy things where I've gotten into crazy places like super genius sex parties, right? And I'm like, I have no idea what to do here.
Wait,
because-
hold on. How you just did that strike anyone else? He just casually was like, I've gotten into, like sex parties. How
Well,
do you get into sex parties? What is this, like a meetup
People
group
invite
or
me
something?
to look.
Just come to this sex party in Hollywood.
You actually, yeah. But nothing.
You're not looking for that. You're not
it's
looking
like-
for sex parties.
well-
You're looking for a relationship, right?
Well, the thing is, I am the work that I do. I work in politics, and essentially
Don't go to these sex parties.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I don't do any. I am very much like I am just looking and seeing what's going on here in the world, and then I am going to peacefully take my non-diseases and go home.
So define looking. Like you get in the door, you see that it's not your cup of tea, and
No,
it's not
I
what you
hang out, I
envisioned
watch.
when you
Look.
heard sex party. Or
Look, I will hang out and I watch, and I'm like, this is going on. This is all legal, moral, and ethical for these folks, and maybe some of this is participating. I have gotten spanked once or twice with my clothes on. But you have to make sure that there's no photos and nothing going on because, again, I have a career that I'm trying to build up. Probably ending right now.
This was the end of it.
This was the end of it. This is my Reynolds pamphlet right here.
Okay, let's get past the sex parties. So, but you're dating.
But it's weird. I go out on these dates, and what's happened is my understanding of flirting is at one level, and everybody else is playing with secret code because.
But here's the thing. I feel like it feels that way, but I bet there's other guys that, I don't know, maybe not Ed, but but I hear this from women too. Brett, you work with a lot of ladies. They say to me that they feel like the rules are changing in front of them and they don't know how to flirt either.
yeah, I think everyone's self-conscious at the end of the day, to some degree or another, and people don't know what's going to work. And I mean, that's what's beautiful about dating, though, is you get to have that, that period of figuring each other out and finding out what works and not.
Well, there's also this weird thing where people are assuming that everyone is just like them. Like I had a conversation where somebody asked me on Tinder, where they're like, "What are you on here for?" And I was like, we mentioned like, "Do you like Hamilton?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, to be honest, I'm here looking for Eliza's, Angelica's, and maybe the occasional Mariah Reynolds." And she was like, "Seriously?" I was like, "Yeah, this is what the dating app is for." And she's like, "Well, I'm looking for this." It's like, well, that's what you're using it for.
And I think what's interesting is back in the day when I used the dating apps, you find so many people that set so many limitations in their profile, like don't talk to me if you're under 6'1", and
Yeah.
Don't talk to me if I don't know. There's so many ridiculous limitations that they set, and it's like they're pigeonholing themselves and not even giving themselves a chance to meet someone. Because I think it's BS to say that you have a type. Like you might prefer one over another, but at the end of the day, there's always exceptions to the rule, and you need to be open-minded when you go into dating.
Ed, I want to know what you're seeing out there in these dating streets. Like, what are the turnoffs for you on dating apps? What are women doing that you're like, that's an automatic swipe left?
It's interesting. I have got to say I came across a totally new approach the other day. And I think if a guy did it, it would be mega creepy. But a girl this was I considered aggressive. And I always find it interesting when a girl takes a first move. But this was one that I was completely not expecting. So say I'm literally at the gym. First of all, I never like meeting anybody at the gym because I sweat a lot. Like I literally look like I'm like I went through Niagara Falls. It's disgusting. I don't know anybody that could find me remotely attractive when I'm at the gym. So I get a buzz in the pocket, and I'm like, what could this be? But I realized if you have iPhones or whatnot, everybody pretty much does. I had a pic airdrop to me and then somebody just said, "Do you like this?" And I thought, I was like, "Oh, am I being like?"
What was it?
It was a nice, very good looking picture of like a total dating profile pic, and I'm like, "How in the world did this get this?" And I realized I keep my AirDrop on for, it says for everyone. I've always kept it on.
This is an iPhone 10 situation.
Yeah, and I was just like, plus, whenever I do AirDrop pictures to my mom, I just wanted to make sure that, it's always on everyone so it doesn't confuse the parents, So, in other words, I get this pic, and I'm like, it's one bad thing to have robocalls on your phone, like every 5 minutes. But now, it's like I'm somewhere and I just literally got airdropped a pic. And
was this really from the girl? Like,
yes, I literally.
I'm like,
around.
you turn around and it's like some guy in a tutu. Like,
see, that's the thing. I thought immediately. Of course, my instinct, because I like to do investigative stuff. I like that kind of bit. So I'm kind of trying to play cop mode with my phone. I'm like, who's spamming me? Like all right, it's a dude with the tight butt over there, and I'm not checking you out, but you look like a guy that might check me out.
Did you respond?
I did, actually. I did respond.
Wait, but did you like it?
Yeah, it was a good pick.
Yeah?
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it was a good pick, and I'm just sitting there, but I was very self-conscious. I'm like, dude, I'm disgusting. So I wanted to go to at least get a towel, and wipe myself
Well, if she
off.
sent it to you, obviously she is into that look.
Right.
Why are
well,
you second guessing this?
Because it's self-conscious. It's just like if you see me at my worst, which is like sweating, I'm like, okay, it's off to a good start. So I just start casually texting back, but I keep thinking the whole time, this is a catfish. It's a catfish, and it got really aggressive. And then I'm just kind of like, you know what? I know the end of this story. I'm literally gonna end up like in a car, and somebody's just gonna jack me and kill me. I know this is the way it's gonna end up. This cannot be a real picture, because I kept looking around the gym, and I'm like, even if it wasn't, I'm like, okay, remotely attractive, meh, okay, all right. And then I was like, well, I kept trying to match the body, because it was just a body.
There
just
were
a
women
body.
in the gym. It wasn't all men.
There was, and I'm trying to find the outfit. I'm like, well, maybe they just sent a different outfit. It was a total mystery game in my head. And the thing was, I eventually just said, you know what, I want to go home. Like, I stink, I'm hungry, and whatnot. I'm leaving. Like, I'm not going to play detective. This is way too much effort, but it was, again, something that just I had never seen before, where this has gone beyond swiping right, swiping left. Somebody's just direct contacting you. This is beyond sliding a DM. This is like airdropping in public.
This is next level.
Yeah, this is next.
So you
yeah.
never found out if it was really like a catfish or what?
Yeah, I felt
You
like
just
it would,
assumed.
Yeah, I just assumed it was.
Because no chick is going to do that for real.
Well, you know what? Here's my logic.
A
is
guy
that-
would totally do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's the second thing. It's just like, I thought about it. I was like, okay, so then what if I tried this attempt? And I immediately know, being that like if I'm in this place, it's not hard to like separate like where I go. I might actually be the only Asian guy working out there. So like if I tried this at my gym, they'd probably be like, oh, I could instantly be zeroed.
You get
in.
reported,
Yeah, I
and
get
the security
reported.
would come over to you and be
I-
like, "Excuse me,
restraining
sir.
restraining order.
You're
You know,
gonna have to
instant
leave the
restraining
gym.
order. Yeah, please
You
get
are
out.
digitally harassing people."
Exactly. And literally that's just not where I want to go. And so I viewed myself as creepy as I could be sometimes. I'm just kidding. But I don't want to be that, like, especially if, men. That's another way for
You
men
totally
to come out
di-
creepy.
You didn't answer my question whatsoever.
Okay.
What is a turnoff that girls do?
Okay, that's a turnoff, I think, in the sense where I think that's actually too aggressive. When you reach to the point of airdropping, I'm like,
But how often does that happen? Like when you're swiping,
okay, for example,
what do you see in the pictures where you're like, nah?
okay, the number one thing is people that take multiple pictures together. Like, for example, if I turn on your first picture and there's 3 or 4 girls of you, do you
Yeah.
know how many times I've actually I've made a match, but I realized I matched the girl that was not in the picture that I thought I was going to try to hook up with or go out with. That's horrible.
Whoa, wait, slipped up there.
Dirty dog head.
No, when you say hook up, is it that you use the dating apps just basically for casual hookups, and then are you looking to meet someone more serious in a different way, or is it just like whatever happens?
You know what? I think I'm a whatever happens. It's like I will admit that I do think, and I don't know how Marquise feels or anything like, or other guys in the room or women. I think Tinder,
Brett.
Brett, sorry. Tinder I've always felt leaned more towards on a hookup scale versus Bumble seems more serious. That's the way at least I've rated it out amongst that. I could be wrong. People may have different feelings.
It's all the same. I mean,
Talk to me.
I think Bumble is supposed to be. In Coffee Meets Bagel, I've gotten more substantive conversations. But the truth is, it's like I've encountered this in real life where someone says in the initial thing, I'm not here for hookups, or you know what, I'm not going to have sex with you. And then 20 minutes later, we're making out. And it's like, if I wanted to, we would have. People just, for some reason, have to put up a false wall. And in Tinder, they do that a lot less, where they say, look, this is what I'm here for, 420 and doing some stuff. Whereas it's like, all right, they don't do that
People
on
go
both.
on Tinder just for weed?
Yeah, literally, they will put like a little, they're like, hey, and it's like a fly, and it's like, okay, that's what you, if you're a cute girl, you don't have to, it's like, do you have weed? I will come over and hang out, and that's
This is
what's
like a
going on.
micro economy. I love this.
It is.
Wait, so speaking of the economy, there was actually an article that hit the Washington Post about who pays on the date. And I want to hear from you guys. Traditionally, of course, men paid for courtship because back in the day, men were the ones that had money. But now women are more financially independent. So they looked at like how many men felt guilty for not paying, how many men believed that women should contribute to the bill. I'd like to know, Marquise, what do you think? Do you feel obligated to pay for all first dates? Is there a point when you expect a woman to pony up one way or another?
Well, I offer to pay on every date, but I think a lot of times it kind of works out either I usually pay or it's Dutch or whoever asks who out. Is essentially who's kind of responsible.
Even for the first date, like if I'm like, hey, Marquise.
Well, I will offer my wallet and be like, I'm paying for it.
But are you going to be salty about it?
No,
if
I'm
I,
never. Well, this is the thing.
If I say, oh, okay, that's fine.
This thing, I carry no salt. Like, I walk into a situation knowing that I could walk into the situation, I could end up paying or not. So I don't. There's no salt that's walking in or out. There's no expectation. I walk into no dates with any expectations. I'm just saying the only expectation I have is to meet somebody and maybe have a good time, and then walk away. And hopefully we have something that we want to build further on, or not.
And I do think there is this new generation of online dating gold diggers that are just going out on dates for the free drinks and the free food. So you do have to be eerie of that. You know, some people you can tell right away, like just by the place they suggest. They just want a good meal, and then it's on to the next one for them.
Okay, can I just rep for the ladies for a second? I think that...
I didn't say it was specifically women. There's some men that do that, too.
Yep.
Well,
I actually just read
an
an article where a guy was going on dates, and he would dine and ditch for, like, years, and he just got caught, and now he's doing, like, 8 years in prison.
Well, too bad for those girls that fell for that. But I would say that for some women, it's not about trying to get you guys to pay for the meal. It's a test of how important am I to you? How much would you pay for a date with me? But guys don't like to be tested, do they?
You know, I'll
That's
tell
not
you.
good either.
I'll say it this much: if a woman pays for your meal, it's probably a good chance you're not getting a second date. They just want to close out and get the hell out of there. I'm just telling you from experience because I can admit being dissed, and like also I think there's an actual separation here. If it's drinks, every guy should just pay. It's cheap enough. Just get it out of the way. Fine. If it's dinner, you know, if you're going to like a Providence or like a 5-star Super Yelp, a Vespertine as your first date, that's your first problem. Like you know, that's already aiming too high, and that bill is going to be a lot. If I went on a date like that, if a woman wanted to actually split the bill, I'd be kind of impressed by that. But I would never ever go to a first date of somewhere of that magnitude.
But I worry for some women that are high earners that then they feel like, well, I don't want to feel pressured to have sex if you pay for it, and I need to let you know I'm making my own money. Then sometimes they get too aggressive about splitting it, and it does send the wrong message, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This is the thing. And I think that part of the challenge is that everybody's kind of taking advice and nobody actually has any actual answers. Because it's kind of
We
like...
have answers at
No,
Dates.
you have actual answers.
What are you talking
But the thing is, it's where
In
people
the moment, nobody
in
has
the
the
moment. But it's like we want I hear sometimes it's like, hey, I'm a high earning person and I want to be able to date anybody. But then you have to accept if you're going to date anybody, if you're going to date a guy that makes $30,000 a year and you want to be open to that, that means he's not going to pay for you to go out to Mastro's. And
Right.
that's how you have to be okay with that. And then you can't say, well, you know, that guy doesn't, he's telling me he's broke. Well, you can't say I want to date anybody. Then say I want to date somebody who makes enough money to take me places that are nice, and be okay with that.
I try and coach them out of it, though, because I'm like, what about the character of that person? But you
But you're
can't
true.
have the expectation.
Yeah.
Either you need to pay for it, but like even when I started dating my husband, he was broke, and I was making like double what he was making, and I would say, well, I want to go to this place, I'll just pay for it, but he was like, no. We can't
It's
go
hard
there.
for guys to swallow their pride
Yeah, he
sometimes.
couldn't do
And
it.
on the flip side, I just hate when it's assumed that like I've had girls thank me for a meal before I paid for it. So it's like
don't like that
one,
assumption.
the date goes terrible, and I just want to remove myself as much as possible. And two, yeah, why is it just assumed that I'm going to pay? Like if I offer to, I think that's great, but if you're
Don't
going
jump
on
the
the date,
gun.
you should just plan to pay for your portion. And then it's like a little added bonus if I pay for it.
I like that. I want to open like a little bit of a can of worms, just because I have two men of color here, and this is like a rare opportunity to talk to you guys. Because, I'm sorry. Is this
No,
bad? Can I
bring
do
it in.
this?
It's the United Nations
No,
of love. You know what I mean?
because it is. And
Let me be clear.
Because I've read a lot of studies that say like Asian men don't get responses online, Black women don't get responses online, and I have my philosophy, but like, can I ask Ed? Have you ever felt like disadvantaged on a dating app?
1,000%. Like, dude, being Asian on an app, it's like, honestly, there's really one app that's just created for us. It's Click to Asia. But literally, the only way, it's because, it's sad. You're gonna get a lot of fobs fresh off the boaters on there. It's not my type. I can barely speak one language, so it's like crossing another one. It's just not gonna happen. So again, and the thing is, I don't necessarily. I'm an equal opportunity dater or swiper, so whatever you want to call it. And I'm telling you, it is a disadvantage. Like, unfortunately, dating's not an equal opportunity, opportunity, if that makes any sense. Because and ultimately, I'll never forget when you look on like something like a Match, they'll tell you what people are looking for. That's the biggest key when you look at these. Dating sites, the ones that break it down, like they break down what kind of ethnicity they're looking for. So like, I'm not even going to bother to click anyone or like anyone's profile that says they're not looking for like open or some, people
I
will literally
feel
put
like-
white, and a lot of people are like, very rarely will you see somebody that's strictly looking for Asian. If somebody puts the on other, then that's at least a plus. I'm like, I can fit into other.
But I feel like there are a lot of people who don't really know, that just by default just pick what they already are, and they're not thinking of, by the way, I might be attracted to someone different. But if they see the picture and they're attracted to you, they'll still message back. I mean, as a Black man, have you had any?
Let's see. The dating apps are a different thing, but in life, I've had a variety of experiences. I've had the good fortune of sometimes being dated because I was Black. In one case.
You're fetishized.
Oh, I've literally, I called it reparation sex one time because somebody said, I want you to, they
No, don't say it on the
I
show.
won't say it
don't
on,
think.
but I won't say the words, but it was like,
Is
I was
that
like-
when you got spanked at the sex party?
Yeah.
well, not that
Sex
time,
party related?
but I'll say that has happened, but that happened back when I was fat. Now, essentially in this this is a whole new bag of tricks in terms of dating and relationships. So I haven't actually been intimate with anybody in a couple years because, well, in terms of, closing the deal, Bill Clinton intimacy. He's like, everything else is just fun. It's like, because it's one of those things where I know the world that I'm working in, there's a risk, and anybody with a camera phone, anybody with a account can just end my career. So I can't go out on crazy dates and just doing stupid things because the world that I work in, everything is
it'll come back to you.
yeah. So I'm shopping for a wife, to get me out of trouble so that I can actually have conversations with, like, I work in a world where most of the people I work with are women. Either I manage or work with or am managed by. So I have had challenges now with slimmer weight with husbands.
Oh, they see you as a threat.
Yeah, because when I was 360 pounds, nobody wanted to sleep with me, couldn't give it away. Now I walk into a room and people are like, oh, Marquise just walked into a room. And I've had challenges like, why is this man texting you late at night? When I was texting before, it was like, oh, we don't care. So I realized that there's a different way that I'm perceived on all different parts. I'm perceived even by, I never had a woman fake cry before in my life. And now I've seen it 3 or 4 times because I can read faces perfectly. It's what I do for a living. So I'm like,
what does my face say right now? No, I'm kidding.
It's like,
so we know you're husband material. You're looking for a wife. If a woman wanted to catch your attention, what would she do? How could she get? I mean, I know she can tweet you at the Keys.
Yeah,
Quis.
Yeah, TheQuis. Keys. They can tweet at me.
Selfless
Slide
plug.
into the DM. What?
I mean, the truth is, for the next few months, like I quit a job where I was making nearly $90,000 a year because I saw kids in cages on TV, and I've been working behind the scenes to help out in any way possible in
You're
these
talking
elections.
about immigration.
In immigration, but in these midterm elections. Like I saw what was on TV. I said I quit this job. I was working for a really huge company, and said I need to do this. So I've been taking no salary to work and help make the world a better place.
Well, that's not going to get you a date.
It's not. But it means that and I'm kind of mission driven. And that means that every moment I'm thinking about how do I do this? And if somebody's going to date me, they got to be able to rock and roll. You got to be able to say, you know what, we're going to this house with this congressman today. And we're going to hang out with this congresswoman today. And then we're going to go and hang out at a homeless shelter tomorrow because that's what I do.
Okay.
That's
Now
just-
we got it. All right. If you're a backpack kind of girl, you can roll with the Keys. You know how to get to him. What about you, Ed? What are you looking for?
You know, I'm just looking. You know what? I think it's looks is the default answer, so I'm not even going to touch that. Obviously, you got to be attracted to somebody. I look for these couple of things in a woman. If you have a sense of humor, like that's fantastic. You don't have to be a stand-up comic because stand-up comics can lead to depressing life if you date one. I'm just saying that like if you're funny, you can understand a joke. Fantastic. That's a seriously underrated aspect. The other one I would have to say is if you know me, I talk a lot. On this show, I've been trying to keep quiet because it's your show. Don't want to steal any thunder.
Well, we just only have a limited amount of time.
So
Ed's show's going to air next week now that,
Right.
now that he has a little
the
thunder
lead-in.
under his belt.
So literally, if a girl talks more than I do, instant turn off, man. You can't be having that. Can't be having that. Like it's not my show.
You do need a balance.
Yeah, I mean, I listen is as important as talking, and believe it or not,
It's more important, I would say, in dating. Mhm.
Yeah. So that's another one. You got to find a good listener because somebody that talks more than man, it's a big turn on. And the third I would say is bad wardrobe, man. It's not just a physical thing. If you just like look at your profile pictures, if you look like I think there's something that says if you're in your profile pics and you just are wearing some hideous, and I'm not like a big snob, if you dress in Forever 21 and you're like 35, sure, that's your prerogative. I understand everyone's got a wardrobe budget, that's your thing. But for me, I'm looking.
Is this a bad choice for me? It's not from Forever.
All right.
21. I'm just playing. I am Forever 21.
I think your style game is on point.
Thank you.
Like seriously.
I've had help.
Yeah, like.
Hey, and if you don't have the style, then maybe get some style.
D couture.
You
all the
guys,
way.
we have questions from other people, and we have like 2 minutes to get through them. So can we do it kind of rapid fire style?
Got it.
Okay, Brett McGinn, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So we kind of answered this, but what's the best dating app for men? Oh wait, we didn't even do the cue. Hold on a second, guys.
Technically dating.
Okay, now we can do this. So, somebody asked, what's the best dating app for men? I feel like a lot of the apps are pretty harsh for men looking for real relationships. Also, is a premium membership worth it? Brett McGinn of loveeffingsucks.com.
I personally like Bumble just because guys tend to be very creepy, and there's something satisfying about knowing that the girl is reaching out to you first. And what was the second question?
Are premium memberships worth it? Like Tinder Plus?
I've never been an addict to dating apps, and I think Tinder gives you like 100 swipes in a day, which is a ton. So I personally have no use for it. I think you can change your location. So if you're like Ed here and you're trying to have a quick hookup and you're going to Atlanta this weekend, maybe it makes sense. I don't know.
Ooh. Anything to add, guys, before we move on?
Now, I guess probably I need more help with the dating app. And I guess this also comes from having a limited more field. I tend to just swipe on everything so I can get through, and then whatever responds, because I get so few responses, it's worth the time to just. It's not worth to sit there and sort through and just read their profile and everything else.
So would you do a premium membership to boost?
Yeah,
you
I've
to
done
the
the.
top?
I do the premium membership, and then I just swipe on everybody. Then I do the boost, and then somebody talks back, and then I start talking to them.
Okay. Next question. Unless you had something else.
No, hey, if you.
I have another question for you.
Just go ahead.
Okay, Ed. This comes to us from a lady. Oh, no, this comes to us from Amanda. Sorry, I misread. Okay. He said, my girlfriend told me that sometimes she lets me have sex with her even when she's not into it at first. She says she lets me because it's not painful / that annoying. She eventually gets in the mood and she does it because it makes me happy. As a guy, I didn't realize this, and apparently it happens 25% of the time. Don't know where he gets his statistics for her, which I feel like is really high. So I don't want to pressure her into anything she doesn't want, but is this normal?
Wow.
Would that is it not fulfilling sex if you know that she's like not really into it?
You know, here's the thing. If you're a selfish guy, you just give all you really care about is yourself. I do think that intimately, like, I like to try to, pleasure. I'd like to think of myself as that. I think what's a bigger turnoff, whenever a guy says he's having bad sex, it's really because the girl's not into it. That's pretty much, and I think that can, I don't know, he must keep a Excel chart somewhere, because 25% is just, that sounds tough, man. I know for me, I would probably have to load up on the blue pills just to increase that percentage, because there's nothing worse, like when a guy.
But she's not into it. Like, you being hornier is not going to make her suddenly.
No, it could. You think about that. I mean, and also maybe as crazy as it sounds, just get her to role play. Say, hey, think of me as John Cho, from Searching. I can be that guy, if you want. I can be the crazy rich Asian that you want me to be. It'll make you hotter for me.
Now,
last thoughts. The Keysinator.
Well, in that last thing, there is the study that says if you smile, you actually secrete the actual hormones that make you happy. So at the same point,
make her smile.
Yeah, make her smile and make her happy, and then maybe everything else will start to go along.
What's your trick here, Brett McGinn?
I think there's give and take in all relationships, and just be open about what works and what doesn't. And 25% is high, and the person I am, like, I can't get into it if I know the other person isn't. And I'd have to imagine he knows the difference between when she's into it and when she's not. And I would just feel like way too macho-y, and, to make someone do like something so intimate like that when they don't want to do it just feels wrong.
As the only married lady in the house, I'll just say, you know what? Sometimes, guys, just take it when you can get it. And don't be greedy about it, So,
because the truth is,
sometimes you're just tired.
I'm better looking with alcohol. I promise you that.
And there's enough times where you get told no that you start looking somewhere else.
She said yes.
Just say yes.
Take the win.
Just take the friction. Just take the friction.
All right, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much, Marquise and Ed, for joining me and telling me about what's inside the mind of men, and especially to my co-host of the day, Brett McGinn of Love Effing Sucks. You can find him online at, I can't say it, but LoveF_CKIN sucks.
No, there's
at
a
Twitter.
G. It's spelled out properly.
Oh, it's not on Twitter. Okay, good. All right, well, now you know how to find him.
Not on Twitter, but the website's actually
on the
out.
website you can find, .com. Okay, there you go. And don't forget to get your FabFitFun using the offer code Dates and Mates. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter at Damona Hoffman. And if you have a question for a future show, why not DM me or leave us a voicemail at 424-246-6255. I hope you're subscribed to the show. If not, you can do that now. We'll see you next week when we're going to go inside the mind of women. We're going to flip it up for next week's episode. Until then, I wish you happy dating.